when it comes to lighting, it does kind of start with the story and the project. And really with anything, everyone has kind of their tendencies and things they lean towards. There are certain cinematographers who you look at their stuff and you kind of know immediately that that's them, and then there's some who are a little more invisible, and unless you really know their work, you might not necessarily catch that it's them right off the bat. And I think I tend to try to lean a little bit more towards that side of it. I have things, there's certain lens sizes that I find myself leaning towards, and yet sometimes I'll do a project where I don't use those as often as I would, because it's just not what that story needs. And lighting, I think, is the same. I mean, I tend to like softer sources in general, but it's just funny. Like it doesn't matter kind of what you like or what you tend to do, unless if you get in a space and you don't have enough room to do what you want to do, or just the scene doesn't call for that. So it's hard to say. I mean, I do tend to use a fair amount of diffusion and heavy diffusion, and I like to bounce a lot. I love book lights, although again, thinking about that, oddly enough, I haven't used one in a couple months because I haven't been on project where it's been what I needed to do. So yeah, I mean, I tend to bounce a lot of light. I tend to use hard light maybe more for accents and background and not too much on actors, although there have also been plenty of times that I do that too. So yeah, I mean, it's mainly, I like making sure it's motivated light, feels natural. I can only count maybe a handful of projects that I've done where the lighting was was a little more kind of overly stylized, but that was what the project needed, and so that's what we did. But I tend towards things that are a little more natural. I hope a little more invisible, that you're not paying attention to that, but you're paying attention to what's happening, and hopefully subtly my lighting is helping kind of enhance and bring you into it more and help you feel the mood of it. I'll tend to think of lighting also some evolution throughout a project as well. If I'm in a space a lot for a short, then I'll think how we can, one, keep it natural and show progression of days if that's important to the story, but also create something that will reveal something about a character. I did a project that was almost entirely in one location, but it was a period of a week, 10 days maybe, and the actor has a scene where he's interacting with this character who he has kind of a complicated relationship with, and they have 3 dialogue scenes together where they there's an evolution of their relationship, and it's all in the same place, the same spot, but just subtly, hopefully. I think you just the first time he's a little more in shadow because he's not really open to this person, and then the next time, a couple scenes later, all of a sudden he's in more of like a 3/4 light. He's a little more open to her now, and then the final time it's kind of almost a little bit more fully lit, still dark, so it matches the feeling of the space, but without noticing, you've seen that like he's now come from shadow to being now in light as he's opened up to her and they're connecting now. So it's it's a subtle thing that you can do, and hopefully the audience feels it, and hopefully it's there and they notice kind of more emotionally than they do like, oh hey, look, now there's no shadow on his face. So yeah, I mean, it's really that kind of stuff, I would say. Yeah, it all really varies on the project. Every time I come up with something that I'm like, oh, this is an awesome trick, write it down, ready, to pull that one out. It just, that won't come up again, and you don't use it forever.